Hello backers, subscribers, and eventually everybody else when this video goes public, although it'll be first going out just to backers and subscribers. The purpose of this video is to give you a bit of an update on the Safety Tips deliverables and to talk about what's coming next. I feel a bit uncomfortable talking about what's coming next before we've delivered all of the Safety Tips deliverables, but hopefully you'll understand at the end of this video why I'm talking about both together. So before I get into detail, I want to just say first that everything we've committed to with the Safety Tips is being delivered no matter what happens next. It might not be delivered as fast as I would like, but it will be there. And everything is in progress, at least partially completed. So, there is progress that's been made on all of these things. But the reason things have been delayed and the reason why I'm changing how I want to be funded in future go hand in hand, because the challenge we've had with the Safety Tips work is that yes, it's been great to have upfront cash that allowed us to spend on materials and do the build and do this other kind of work. But with a single one lump sum, we didn't have any kind of reliable income for ongoing costs. And also we committed to a bunch of stuff that we didn't know exactly how long it would take because no one's ever done it before. And of course, things took longer than expected. As an estimate, I think probably there's been about 300 hours of essentially free labor that have gone into the Safety Tips work at this point. That's labor which is not accounted for in the project costs and which no one can be paid for. And the team have been fantastic, and they've accepted that there's only so much they could get and that they would still do all the deliverables regardless of the fact that it doesn't quite match up to what they've been paid. And obviously for myself, there's been even more free labor that's going beyond that. So the challenge really with all of this is that we are squeezing it in between our lives. And the problem being that I have a full-time job and a family, a wife who I want to spend time with. I fence, I organize tournaments, I organize a club. All of us are involved in various different aspects of that. And right now, the time to do Safety Tips is competing with all of that. It's competing with my hobby, it's competing with my other organizing for the hobby, and the same is true of the rest of the team. That time is quite limited. And all of that has, to be frank, suffered from trying to do the Safety Tips. This week, I skipped training entirely to try and focus on some of the next steps. This last 2 weeks in particular, this has been very noticeable because 2 weeks ago there was an incident in Poland where a friend of mine, who I know quite well, got stabbed through the bicep by an untipped rapier. It's been all over the internet. I'm sure you've seen it before. And of course, the interest in Safety Tips has exploded. I've been asked loads of questions. I've been asked to comment. I've been seeing people quote the paper, which has been fantastic to see that it being out there, being used. But it has also been misquoted or misrepresented, and I've been trying to stomp on all those misrepresentations. It's been exhausting, and of course, last weekend for me was Albion Cup, the biggest tournament in the UK, or certainly one of the two. And the timing couldn't have been possibly worse from my perspective because I don't organise that, but I do help out quite a bit on that one. So once again, the time for dealing with the Safety Tips things has been shared with other activities. And basically, the Kickstarter model doesn't work. As well as Kickstarter, I put up an ability to make donations through my website. That has so far, in the sort of 4 months it's been up, earned a grand total of £50, which is not a great deal. And I've realised that just if there is to be any sustainable research into safety in HEMA, it cannot be this way, right? It cannot be done by somebody trying to squeeze it into the hours. If nothing else, I will burn out. And it's probably no coincidence that my tournament performance this year since doing Safety Tips has slipped quite a bit because of all the other things going on. Not that any of you should care about that one, but it bugs me. So what's next, right? And all this is tied up together. And I wanted to tell backers first before I came out to explain why I'm about to be asking for more money when I haven't yet delivered on the stuff that I've already been paid for. I need to move to a model where there is a regular source of income that I can rely upon. With that, and I've already discussed this with my work, I will be able to reduce my working hours from my working day to 4 days a week rather than 5. And in the process of doing that, have 10 times as much time, pretty much, to not quite, but sort of 7 to 8 as much times per week, with nothing else competing with the demands of that, to dedicate just to historical fencing research, safety research, including safety tips, including other things. I have been jotting down a list of my ideas, and these are further experiments for safety tips. These are new equipment to develop to do different kinds of tests. These are using the same equipment to test things like the puncture resistance of jackets that we use, of cloth, understanding what does 350 newtons look like with different broken blades, or even just different untipped saws, like what kind of energy level does it affect, where does flex come in. Lots of output papers, lots of research. I've got a list of about 50 different things that I either know how to do already or know enough that I know it's possible and we need to work out the details, but that takes a lot of time. And in some cases, ones where I've got the research, like the Wessex League sword data that I've been meaning to publish for ages, just need to tidy it up and get it published. It's probably only about half a day's work to get that out there, to get detailed statistics on, I think it's 500 swords or something like that, for people to be able to look and see, but I haven't had time to do, right? So I will be coming out with a Patreon soon. My goal is to get to something like 50 to 100 subscribers, giving something like £10 a month. Obviously, if some subscribers give more, I need fewer subscribers. If I get in that region, I'll be able to then have this plan work where I have a single day a week purely for safety tips. Well, purely for safety research into HEMA. That will mean that the last bits of the safety tips project get done faster because I'll have time to dedicate to them. I also have several fairly urgent things that I want to get done that might jump ahead of some of the safety tips work. In particular, I've been speaking to the person who got stabbed. I'd like to do a much more detailed report of that incident because it's a fairly major safety incident with a lot of misconceptions out around there, and I want to start digging into what that might look like so that people can make sensible, informed decisions about what to do rather than knee-jerk reactions that may or may not actually fix the problem. And I'll come out with a full list of things that people can see and understand what the hell I'm talking about, because it is quite a lot and quite varied. And I hope none of you are angry that I'll be asking for money before I've spent all of yours, or rather before I've delivered everything I've promised to deliver from the money you provided me. And I hope all of you will be supportive, because, as I say, this stuff, the events of 2 weeks ago highlighted to me just how important this is to do well, and I cannot do it well and do it the way I'm currently doing it. On the current model, I've had to make priority calls. I've always focused on making sure that the research is done and done well and then out there, but I'm not communicating it as much as I could. I'm not, it's not going as fast as much as I could. There are the subsidiary reports I'm still working on that need to be out there to explain why the results we got from the experiment are valid, do transfer to what we're doing. And of course, there's lots of follow-up tests to do that, haven't been able to do. And this is all not possible without change. So I hope many of you will consider donating, joining on the Patreon. I intend the Patreon not just to be a way of getting me money, but actually also the reason I'm keen on that platform is the community angle as well. I would like anybody who's donating on the Patreon to be able to be actively involved in deciding research priorities, in helping shape things, and asking questions that I might not have thought of, to think about whether there's a way of testing it. And my goal with a lot of the things that will be funded by that is not just me doing the work, but also me being better able to share guidance for other people who would want to do similar tests, by producing designs, by producing the background research I've done that has led into the tests, so that other people can think about it and build upon it, and essentially just get through a lot of work that otherwise will not get done. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you understand my reasoning behind this. Even if you don't join the Patreon, please do talk about the work, share it with people, get the message out there, because that's another area where, because of the lack of time, I've been less good than I would like to be, and your support in getting the message out there would be incredibly valuable. Thanks for watching.